Well, hello, everybody, followers, subscribers, supporters. Thank you so much. Welcome back to my channel. Megan here, the faithful fibromyalgia warrior. And you know what? I'm sorry it's been a while. Ever have those moments where you feel like you've got so much you want to share and so much you want to say, but either you aren't sure how to put it across, you don't know where exactly to start, and you don't want to sound like a broken record. And that's kind of been me recently. Yes, I've been trying to learn Ukrainian, for those of you who don't know. Some very good friends now who are over living in the UK, who came over, of course, when the war broke out. And they and a bunch of other women have been sponsored by some of the members of the church I'm part of. And I just got to know them through this sort of virtual club that we do where we help them practice English. Now, I don't teach English. They learn that themselves, and then we talk with them usually once a week for about an hour to help them practice, and then they practice with each other as well. Anyways, so that has been going on, but there's moments where I've been feeling like I'm feeling so much better, and that is so amazing, and that's without a doubt true. How do I share how I'm feeling without sounding like I'm constantly saying the same thing over and over again? But then I thought, you know what? I suppose it's kind of like when the apostles or the disciples went out to share the good news about Jesus. Well, they repeated the message over and over again. And if people wanted to hear it, they did. If they didn't want to listen, they didn't. But the message itself is great, even if it's repeated over and over again. Now, what I'm trying to say is just because I've had some major improvements in my health, is that better than the message of Jesus? Absolutely not. That's not what I'm saying at all. But it is good news. And I have been able to come to this place of healing and hope and faith because of having God in my life. And honestly, by eating the carnivore diet. Now, for me, that means primarily ground beef that's 20% fat, bacon, and egg yolks. That's the majority of what I eat. If we're out, I might get steak, or I'll have a double burger, 2 burger patties with maybe some egg and cheese on top, or bacon. But beef, bacon, eggs, those are the main staples. Every now and then I might have, maybe some lamb, some sausages, as a kind of mix it up a little bit. But really, I know it is not an easy thing to transition to, but it is very simple. Honestly, it's so simple. And it seems daunting. And having been following this way of eating now 2.5 years, to me, it seems like, oh my gosh, well, of course I'm going to eat this way. This is like the easiest thing to do because I've been doing it. But I remember, or sometimes I forget, and then I have to remember, wait a minute, it wasn't easy when I first started. In fact, if you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I tried going on a paleo approach initially back in May of 2020. Made my IBS, my leaky gut, my constipation, bloating 100 times worse. Dark leafy greens, all these nuts and seeds were still included in the diet. Getting rid of, say, sugar, dairy, soy, and gluten was not enough. And what I came to understand very quickly was that I do not do well with plants of any kind, personally. Some people seem to be okay with them. I'm not one of them. I love vegetables and I love fruit, but they do not like me back. I was at one point eating easily 6 or 7 pieces of fruit a day, thinking I was being healthy. On top of, say, toast with peanut butter and jam, or toast with peanut butter and banana slices, thinking, oh yeah, this is so good for me. And it wasn't. at all. And it played a major factor as to why in 2019 my triglycerides were twice the level of what was considered to be an acceptable range. So I think it's millimoles, part millimoles per liter, however, how they measure it here, right? So in October 2019, the acceptable range is 0.23 up to 2.23, with 2 and under being ideal. My triglycerides, 4.83. Now, my LDL cholesterols were also really high. They were abnormally high. They were off the scale. And my HDL cholesterols were very, very low. As I learned later, once the triglycerides would come down, then the HDL cholesterols would go up. Okay. So this was in 2019, and I was already easily carrying an extra 20 to 40 pounds over a healthy body weight. It didn't matter if I had fibromyalgia. It didn't matter if I couldn't go to the gym. I was eating so many inflammatory foods that I was facing a losing battle. And even when I got put on the statins to help with my LDL cholesterol to come down, my HDL was still pretty low and my triglycerides were still too high. And when I saw the specialist in March of 2020, literally about 3 days before lockdown started, she said to me, "You've got to cut back on fruit. The fructose in that fruit is probably the biggest reason as to why your triglycerides are so high." I'd never heard that before. I was shocked. I wasn't eating a lot of food. In fact, I was restricting as much as possible. But what I was eating was not healthy, had very little or no nutritional value. So COVID hits, and I and my husband and everybody else we knew said, screw it. Let's have delivery. Let's have, doner kebabs, and we'll get Indian curries, or in my case, chicken kormas, because I can't do spice, right? Let's have the creamy sauces. Let's have all these things, and the rice and the naan bread, and even the things that had gluten that I knew I shouldn't be having. Who cares? We might die from COVID tomorrow. Forget it. Let's eat what we like. There was a lot of waffles with ice cream and things like that being sent, dessert by delivery. So by Deliveroo or Just Eat or whoever it was, Uber Eats, all those guys. Now, could I turn around and say, well, it's their fault, they gave it to me? Why? We ordered it. I put it in my mouth. And of course, the more sugar, the more seed oils, the more processed grains and carbs and cereals and all that kind of crap that I put in my body, the more inflamed I got. I knew I had osteoarthritis, but I was eating inflammatory foods, of which one of the key ones is sugar and highly processed carbohydrates. I'm not even talking about, vegetables at this point. I mean, all plants have some degree of carbohydrates in them. Every plant does. That's just a fact. I didn't know that they were carbs. I thought of carbs as like regular pizza crust and cookies, even the gluten-free ones, and cereal and oatmeal. I came to discover had carbohydrates, loads of them. I didn't know they were bad for me, and that too much of them is bad for anybody. I didn't realize that. But by the time we hit the end of May, early June of 2020, I was just over 200 pounds. I'm only 5'5". Okay. I'm still not super active because I'm healing. And so the ideal weight for my body frame is around 120, 124 pounds, which fluctuates depending on my hormones every month and my cycle every month. Okay. But it sits around there. And it has done for at least 2 years. Now, when I was facing the summer being obese and inflamed and in so much pain, Like nothing helped. I was taking muscle relax. I was taking baclofen muscle relaxants to help with my lower back pain, on top of gabapentin and cocodamol, which is equivalent to, say, Tylenol 3 with codeine, if you're from North America. And I was taking antidepressants, sertraline, that was supposed to help with my anxiety as well. And I was constantly constipated, and my IBS was horrific and so painful. And I was miserable. And as somebody who has had an eating disorder or some sort of disordered relationship with food almost my entire life, I couldn't handle it anymore. The stress, what I didn't realize, of course, is this was causing me undue stress, which was causing the cortisol to rise, which was causing me to be in fight or flight mode, I should say, which was causing me to hang on to all the weight on my body. So even if I went and didn't eat anything for a whole day, I didn't drop weight. My body was in fight or flight mode, and it was not letting go of anything. And everything hurt. I could barely get off the sofa. It hurt to get out of bed. I'd lost interest in life at that point, just as far as, yeah, whatever, we'll do whatever. I don't care. I'll just be there. Don't worry about me. That type of mindset. Not, I want things to end. I wasn't at that point. But if things hadn't changed, I probably would have reached that point. And I ended up discovering keto on YouTube. What was it? What was it all about? I dove into it. I found somebody who had lost over 100 pounds following a ketogenic diet. So I thought, oh, this is fantastic. And she did it apparently without exercise or going to the gym. So I was sold. Okay. I was sold. And I started going on the keto diet. And as soon as I allowed myself to actually eat healthy, saturated fats from animal sources of protein, eggs with the yolk, and ground beef and bacon and sausages and burger patties and all of that, my mind exploded. It was like, wow, this is what I've been missing. And as I cut down on carbs more and more, now in my case, that was not just junk food, that was vegetables and fruits, no seeds, no grains, no cereals. I never did well with these things. I enjoyed eating them. And then 10 minutes later, I was regretting every single bite I took because it caused me gut issues every time. And I realized I can't eat these things. And actually, after a few weeks, I did start to see some weight come off. I think I lost 20 pounds in the first month-ish, thereabouts. Between July of 2020 and October of 2020, I lost a good 60 pounds. Some of it, a lot of it was water weight. The inflammation, the puffiness, all of that. Obviously, there was fat loss, of course, significantly, to get me down to where I am now. But I'm grateful for the journey every day because, it took me about a month to realize, hey, wow, wait a second. I still have pain, but it doesn't feel quite so bad as it used to. My medication's actually being effective. Not only that, I started to notice my brain fog lifted. I had my brain back again. I was once a productive, working, intelligent person, and I was getting that back again. And I realized then, as I had the mind space and the mental capacity and the spiritual and emotional desire to recommit and reconnect with God, I thought, you know what? I can actually do that now. Not that I ever lost faith completely, but it was never a very long or deep or rich relationship with God because my brain was just not there. I thanked God. I offered him prayers, a moment or two every day, but I wanted more. And I absolutely believe that God helped me to find my way to keto and eventually to carnivore. Why? Yes, to heal my body. Absolutely. Because until my brain started to clear and heal, I couldn't connect to God in a meaningful way. And when I did, that gave me the faith throughout the rest of the pandemic. That gave me faith through challenges we faced in the family, family emergencies and situations. That helped me to actually draw close to God and help my husband and I draw close to each other and in many ways renew our relationship. And that would never have happened if I hadn't healed physically. Was it because I did something special? No. Okay, yes and no. Yes, I chose to go carnivore. I chose to eliminate all the plants out of what I ate. I eat ground beef, 20% fat, egg yolks, butter, bacon, sometimes sausages, occasionally lamb. That's what I eat. And that has healed me so many ways. But this is just medicine that God has always provided, right? God did not intend for us to use seed oils and processed flours and grains and carbs and all this other crap. He did not intend for us to create these things for nourishment because they don't nourish. There's no nourishment in them. But he provided us with animals and their byproducts like butter and eggs that are nourishing, that give us all of the nutrients and amino acids and the things that we cannot produce ourselves, that we can produce, that we can have when we consume these foods. And so today has been a great victory. And I'm going to sound like a broken record, but honestly, it's true. Okay. For those of you who have been following me for a while, you know that I have been starting to find greater and greater improvement in my physical health, and my mental sharpness is getting better as well. Well, I have not needed a wheelchair at church for several weeks now, for actually just over a month. I've not needed my compression gloves on my hands anymore. I am off completely of my statins because my triglycerides and cholesterol are all well within check. I have also done some resistance training, just a little, over this past couple weeks, building up my strength, strengthening my core, feeling better and better every day. And today, my husband had to do something after service. So my son and I, he dropped us off. We went to Starbucks, had something to eat, had a coffee. And then we actually walked about a half a block up the road, sat on a bench outside. It was beautiful out. Turned around and we walked back so my husband could pick us up at Starbucks. But I had not walked that far in a very long time. And again, it was like a half a block up and a half a block back. By anyone's standards, not far at all. But it was major for me. I felt no pain since getting home, feeling a little bit exhausted, which I think is still to be expected at this point. But I feel like I'm 90% healed. At the moment, I still need my electric wheelchair to go to town and back. But the fact that I was able to walk a bit today, and it's been sunny out and 13 Celsius, beautiful spring day, that's massive. That is massive. Little by little, God keeps healing me. And I share this because I've been at the complete opposite end. There was a time where I had to sit in a bath swivel seat under the shower head, and I had a care person in every day for 2 years to help me by washing my hair and helping me get dried and dressed afterwards, to standing in the shower on my own strength every day without any real, nasty pain. little bit of stiffness because it's first thing in the morning, but otherwise, that's it. That's what I've come to. And so God is using his infinite wisdom and his power to heal me through eating a carnivore diet. Now, I'm still on my medications. However, I'm off baclofen, which is the muscle relaxant. I've cut my gabapentin down now gradually. Okay. I didn't do it all in one day, but I've weaned myself down from 2,100 grams to 1,200 milligrams. And I'm hoping to come off it completely. There are side effects. There are some potential long-term consequences for your gut and, say, your kidney and liver if you stay on it for a long time. And honestly, 9 years of it, I'm done. I want to be done with it. I want to be moving on to better health. I understand that there will come a time one day when I get to go to heaven and any pain I might have still will be gone, and sorrows and sadness will all disappear, because that's heaven. But in the meantime, if I can do everything possible and honor God and eat in a way that he intended for us to, which is relying on the skeletal muscle meat of animals, everything from birds to lobsters, okay? And in between is included, but eating these things, nutrient dense, nutritious, and filling. If I can follow those rules, those instructions, those guidelines to find optimal health and look after myself as much as I possibly can, that's what I want to do. And I want to provide hope, because it is possible to find improvement. It won't happen immediately. I may have lost weight relatively quickly. I lost a grand total of 80 pounds in about a 6-month period. Okay. That was just me. That's how that worked with me. But it has taken the balance of the 2.5 years to start to finally feel improvement in my inflammation, in my chronic pain. Sorry, not chronic fatigue. I don't have that. I sleep really well at night. It's a combination of diet, of walking with God, and even just things like in the morning, looking up towards the sun with my eyes closed. I don't want to go blind. Following a good sleep routine and good circadian rhythm. All of these things play a factor, but these are all just things people have figured out that God has already, kind of laid out for us if we would just listen. So if you are in bed and in excruciating pain, I have absolutely been there. My deepest sympathies. I hope that your pain passes soon, that you have a better day soon. And if you haven't yet tried it, you might consider the carnivore diet, because it can potentially make a world of difference. Honestly, it can. It has transformed my life for sure. So I hope that you guys do well. I hope everything is going okay for you wherever you are. Thank you so much for all your support and love. And feel free to share this with anyone who maybe could benefit from this. But it is possible to see improvement. I never would have believed this 9 years ago when it first flared up. I never would have. But here we are. And in fact, I have seen transformational improvements. So it is possible. Not because I'm some amazing, great, perfect person. No. God is the healer. He is the great physician. Meat is the medicine. Or it can be. Anyways, guys, that's it for me for now. I hope you're well. Thank you again. And I will see you in the next video, hopefully soon. Bye.